get. Let me see. Charge completed. That's what's up. Supreme Rising, what's going on, Supreme Rising? I got a specific topic to talk about today based off, I don't know, Divine be showing me things, and it's like Divine show it to me in absolute, and it's not going to be like one of the normal bills of how I normally tap in. I want to speak to certain understandings that different people have as far as their entity understanding. It's like, deifying energy, like what people call their understandings as far as higher spiritual connections, wall paintings, carvings, their retrospect of what a god is for them and these different aspects. I want to focus on that for a minute because nobody never really has this conversation because no culture really knows. They never have the conversation based off what these other entities are and why were they relevant here in the flesh with a mark of high spirituality, no matter what it is, no matter who they are. Not the ones that are fake, though, because we do have a culture that came like 45,000 years ago that wanted to, have a deifying understanding of their existence and where they came from spiritually, but they didn't have a claim for that. So they had to create it via the understanding of other situations that took place. Now, these other situations that took place, the reason why they were failed, I'm about to show you something real quick. And this be the problem. This be the problem with comprehension and understanding of spiritual energy and things that got close to it but failed it. You know what I'm saying? And this is why people don't really understand divine in its full totality. Everything in the earth is divine. The oxygen you breathe, the particles all around, everything is made with the divine spark. Everything, even the fact that we're living on a body, a complete body that's, that's deceased and it's giving off, mold and stuff like that. That's really what we living on. The trees and everything is growing on a giant body. Don't let me go too deep in that. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there were people that rose in the rank of spirituality before these stories was even written down or comprehended and to understand what people were doing in different cultures. This was happening. Nobody was writing this stuff down. They didn't know what this one individual was doing in this cave over here or what this person was doing in these caverns or in this mountain. They don't know what nobody was doing. But what happened was when you have no propaganda in the world, you have nothing occupying your mind. You have nothing in the way to stop you from being barefoot, connected to the synapses of the earth, the electrical frequency that goes through us. When you have nothing impeding on this reality. And this is times way before. I mean, I'm talking not 45,000 years ago. I'm talking more about 100,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? 200,000 years ago, stuff like that. When people were really living in the understanding of divinity. What happened was you had certain people that took it to the farthest extent. When they got a taste of that deifying energy, this is the first time, democratic understanding in some form was actually propagated to be used as not in a form of control, but in a form of balance. So you had some of these people because the only vice that they had at the time was spirituality. Everybody was only connected through that understanding. You know what I'm saying? So because people was connected through that understanding, you had these beginning processes. You had an overwhelming envelopment of divine energy. It's because there was no other focus on nothing else. It was nothing else to focus on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're literally barefoot every day in the woods around trees. It's more natural ability around than anything else that's available. It was like 10 times the amount of what we're searching for right now. So you have different cultures where people rose in those rights, and they were at the doorway of becoming the transmuted or the crystallized version of the person they were to become that at that specific time, meaning they had access to their Merkaba. It's the only reason why they can even tell it to you or explain it to you in some form. They got that close. But here's the clincher, and stories speak about this same thing, but nobody correlates it. There was a great spiritual war. You see this on different and carved in stones, paintings, and all over the place. You got to keep one thing in mind. Divine doesn't have to war with nothing. Divine is almighty. So that right there, that sediment in its own, the fact that divine doesn't have to, and at a specific time, groups of people picked up the value to do something opposite of divinity. Listen to what I'm telling you. And they were already rising to the rank of their highest version, right? They wasn't supposed to digress and come back downstairs. They wasn't supposed to do that. Now check this out. You hear the stories about the Ligers, the half lion people, all that, who was in the spiritual wars back in the day. You had Indra, you had Krishna, you had the elephant god, you have Shiva, you have Ra, Set, Osiris, all these different values where people revered them in some form of greatness. The reason why all that fell to an understanding of earth pretense, even with Indra, the god, the goddess, which was a man, but then transcended through time and space and became a woman, is because all of them fell in bloodlust. Every last one of them fell in bloodlust. You know what that means? That means they started warring, and with the power of divine, they loved it so much, they were decimating things. They were destroying everything. And they were like, I'm the god now. That's where the arrogance came in at. You got to keep in mind, when temptation was set on set in earth, temptation wasn't just to tempt you with money, gold, women, different circumstances, power, stuff like that. Temptation falls in any form that goes against divinity. And whether people knew it or not, the adversary was playing roles even way back then. But the time wasn't wrapped around something that we call Christianity. It was based off the fact that I'm watching everybody run upstairs. I'm watching everybody have a space to become divine, especially when the adversary was stripped of all his universal energy. So it's watching it before any other formulation was taking place. It's watching these things take place. It's like, dang, everybody else get to go upstairs, but I got kicked out for whatever I did. This is predating value before we even get certain stories. So now this is why you look at it, you like, dang, they got this God, they got this God, they got that God. Well, all their gods failed. You know why? Because they went to war and they fell in bloodlust. Divine ain't about warring nothing. Divine is almighty. And if they had to let that divine energy that they inhabited came over and took over the value of what they were trying to change or procure, they would have never had to raise their hand. They would never had to raise a finger. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem. They got so close to the divine energy, they wanted to flex power. Divine is never going to be egotistical. This is why you can't take the flesh into the next level. So yeah, they started glowing, turning colors, growing arms, doing all types of stuff when they started falling back down. Of course, when they came back after touching that energy, they came back and failed. This is why you have a resonant story of it. You never hear a story about Buddha out there thumping. You never hear that. It's not even a story in old days that tell you, oh, Buddha was this. No, he solidified peace and found love out of food. That's why he was the fat spiritual man. He found love out of food. And when he passed on, he was pure love. He didn't care about anything. He would give you whatever conscious understanding you need. He gave it to you from a sincere space. I'm not saying I'm Buddhist. What I'm saying is everybody has the opportunity to understand unconditional love in their own value, place, time, and sediment wherever they're placed around the whole entirety. Everybody does. So when we're talking about the adversary, you got to understand these stories just don't fall jurisdiction to what happened to us. They fall because we've been here over 1 billion years on this earth. Original people has been on this earth over 1 billion years, not 45,000 years. So 45,000 years can't tell you nothing about what's been going on for over 1 billion years. And this is a constant failure. We got to understand the fact that everything we do, everything watches so they can try to master what we do. It doesn't even matter what it is that you're doing. You will be mastered. But you will be mastered in a way that I think I can do what you do better than you. So now let me remove everything that you do and see what happens natural. So now I can tell you what you're doing, lack thereof of what you think you know, and now put you in the pretense of what I did as far as fail. And that's where we at with it right now. I know a lot of people ain't even thinking about it like this. Nobody has this type of recollection. You just like, oh, this is what the system is, the government, the world, this place, this person, this plane, that bomb, all this. That's how people think. They don't think. Nobody thinks and says, well, you know what? Divine gave us the process the whole time. Divine gave us everything. Divine said, I am in the world, not of the world. I knew you, and those simple things, I don't like repeating it because it's stupid to me. At the end of the day, I can sit there and watch and say, dang, I can see why people keep going in a circle because they don't pay attention to what Divine said in the initial. If I told you to go pick up the mop, and then on the way to go pick up the mop, you did everything else. You played the game, you smoked a cigarette, you went in the refrigerator, got something to juice, you knocked something over, you cleaned that up, but you didn't do what I said when I said go pick up the mop. You did everything else because you felt like, you know what, I could do what I want. That's free will, right? That's the same thing that happened when they started rising in spirituality. They thought they can do what they want with Divine's power. No, you can't. You got knocked down, brought low. Big facts. This is why they end up being spiritual energy floating around. Ooh, scary. Oh, what happened back in the day? You can't even let go of the past. You got to tell every story that happens over and over and over and over because that was the greatest your people ever got. In whatever circumstance it was, the greatest they ever got. You got to keep telling it. You can't let go shit. Just like people do today. They can't let go nothing. Just hold on, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I hate this, I hate that, da-da-da. But will you ever talk about yourself? No, you won't. So people like to repeat processes. See, because you're a follower, you're a great follower. You can't think for yourself. So whatever anybody tell you, you start to fall in the same energy that follows in those same pretenses. So we can sit down and have an overall conversation, right? About circumstances, situations, narratives, which is pointless. Or I can watch you think that you're better than what Divine laid out here. Let's have a conversation about what you think about yourself, because I'm going to tell you what Divine thought about you. Yeah, but that's not what you think about yourself. See, that's hard-headed all over again. There's so many facets that where people always think that they have a different understanding than how you was created. I dare a dog to start running track. And I'm not talking about against another dog. I'm talking about I'm going to put on these Usain Bolt shoes and this outfit and I'm going to race you. Literally, stand up on 2 feet. I'm not talking about, some funny shit. I'm talking about show me false to reality and a value of what we have contingencies to as far as what we consider human. So if that's not the case, why are you trying to step out of your line? Or you like stepping out of the lane? Let people do that. They teach that too. They teach being insignificant, teach being disobedient, teach being disrespectful in so many different forms by the way they act with it. Didn't you laugh when your kid cursed when they was little? 2 years old, bitch, you like that shit, right? It's funny. But it ain't funny when somebody say it to your face. And they're your age, equal value. You say, they supposed to know better. Well, but you enjoying it. Love and hate is the same energy on both sides of the coin. When do you get mentally sound and say, well, damn, how did I entertain this, but I hate this over here? Who's dividing up your mind, your mentality to make you think that you're accurate, but then you still walk that same way? That's like a large road of people. It's like everybody in the whole world. Ain't too many people break off that line and say, I'm going to slide over here because Divine has said everything they need to say. It's not like I need to go through every single chapter when Divine gave me the immediates right in the first. Like, I'm going to tell you first off jump what you need to comprehend. Oh, yeah, Divine did that. And then the world said, you know what? Let's twist and swivel and change and make all these colors and the different arrangements and have everybody like, this was really going on. No, that's not even the truth. It's not even a value. Divine is always going to be simplistic. It's always going to be simplistic. So y'all can have 1,000,001 stories. You can have 1,000,001 wars, 1,000,001 circumstances. This person, that person, everybody playing a role in the movie. I don't give a shit because Divine is almighty over everything. Period. ... End of that. There's no energy that exists in the known universes. Known universes. Planes of existence. No power. I don't care if it's magnanimous to you, so large and forgiving to you. It still doesn't hold up to the greatness of pure divine energy that fills everything in existence. Everything. Not no man with a hat and a suit walking around trying to tell you what it is. Not no person in a robe and a turban talking about, this is really what it is. Not no person over here hiding in a desert mound. Not no person hiding behind pillars talking about if you don't do this, we're going to put chains on you. None of that. None of that even matters. You ain't going to thump for you, then who going to thump for you? Nobody. Divine said, I gave you almighty power and you out here talking about consideration. Man, make that shit make sense. I gave you almighty power and you out here talking about consideration. You want to be gangster on your own people. I seen this meme today. That shit was funny. They had a dude in whiteface. He was walking by the people in the hood, but they was trying to make an ideal to show you a purpose. So the dude walking by in a suit, like this. Everybody like, hey sir, how you doing? Nice shoes, nice suits. So you working? Everybody, all the brothers that was on the corner was cool with him. Soon as another brother that was similar to them that walked through, they judged them. They looked at him. They circled him like sharks. The brother got scared. Like, I don't even know why they checking on me. I'm just going to the store. But they like, yeah, you ain't da-da-da-da. It's like the system of the value puts us in this understanding of failure before we even get there. You know why? Because the adversary already knew that it had no chance to grow within the ranks of division. Divine said, I send you amongst the people. Why would I send you amongst the people? So therefore, you can see what it looks like to grow in the ranks. So once you had your rank, you would need to be appreciative of where you were. So the adversary wasn't appreciative because he chose to go against the divine. You can have this how you want it. You can have the story how you want it. But if you keep putting it in every single root, every single seasoning, every single thing, is glucose everywhere. I'm so serious. Y'all act like you oblivious to the fact of how things actually work. But then if I'm telling you, well, I'm mad because you saying it. I'm mad because you how you know, why you get to know. It's called obedience. It's called take yourself out of it and listen for once. It's called quick to listen and slow to speak. It's called follow your first thought. Drop on you. Give it to the Most High. You imperfect. Your flesh bleed. You gonna tell somebody else what? Like you can't get your noodle cracked. Everybody's on the same dimension. We all breathe the same thing. Control what? And you stand there and let it happen. And look, I ain't trying to hold y'all. Just trying to show you something. And I ain't even staying long. Naga the wise.